Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? This is Amanda. Today is the 13th of December 2020. Hope you're doing well. I'm going to be pulling some cards today and having a chat with you all, bringing some channeling through, linked into this new moon in Sagittarius tomorrow on the 14th. And we also have a total solar eclipse. Now, I'm sure you all know, but it's worth repeating that the influence of any eclipse lasts for not just days, not just weeks, but months. And so whatever we are welcoming in tomorrow, as well as letting go of, the influence is going to be around next year in 2021. So we're going to get straight into it. I'm using a couple of decks, one of which I've never used before. I'll just tell you what they are. This deck, which is called Guardian of the Night by MJ Cullinane. I'm sure I've said your name wrong, apologies. But anyway, you are apparently an artist based in Seattle. And somebody sent me this deck. Thank you to Priscilla who sent me this deck. Yeah, an award-winning Seattle-based artist, writer, mother and lover of all things magical, especially crows. Sounds like we'd get on very well. It's interesting that I've put my black top on today. Hadn't realised that, so that's the energy of the crow as well. So, yes, we're going to use this deck. It's beautiful. It's all original pieces of artwork based around animals. This one, for example, is the energy of the sun, which I'm going to keep out, actually. It was top of the deck, on the bottom of the deck, actually. And, of course, we've got a solar eclipse, so let's keep that one out. The lion, let me just put that up so you can see that. Beautiful, hey? So we're going to be using this deck, and we're also going to be using the Gaia Oracle by Tony Carmine Salerno, another artist. I seem to be surrounded by artists, which is not a bad thing. Where's Tony? He's in Australia. I'm going to use his deck, and that was gifted to me by Matthew, so thank you, Matthew. Right, let's see what we're getting. Let me just tell you what I'm picking up intuitively before we get to any cards, just in terms of colour energies, crystal energies, etc. So there seems to be, I guess it's obvious actually now I'm thinking about it, this solar eclipse. I'm tuning into not just the energy of the lion, I'm tuning into the energy of the dragon quite strongly, and the element of fire. Okay, so I was pulled to probably use my own fire elemental spray, and which has the dragon on it, Metatron's dragon. I was also drawn to a particular crystal, which is called dragon's blood. It's a form of jasper. You see that? And the qualities of dragon's blood it's to do with protection, strength, endurance, and this is interesting. It says dragon's blood opens the heart chakra to strength and expression, to stand up for what is right and just. Right. Okay, that makes sense. I was hearing the song. I know it's a bit corny, but actually there's a deeper meaning to this, and my ears are now going. Total Eclipse of the Heart, Bonnie Tyler. Of course, it's got eclipse in the title, but it was more about the heart. Total Eclipse of the Heart. This crystal, blood jasper, dragon blood jasper, the energy of the sun, the energy of the dragon, helping to open up our heart chakra, where it has been closed, where it has been dormant, where things have been hidden. It's as though we have this blackout moment, but then this amazing moment of revelation where we can truly hear and feel our heart's calling, what our heart is trying to say. And I'm hearing that a lot of us have been subduing the calling of the heart. And of course, this is all tied into the corridor that we're in. This is the predecessor. Is that the right word? I think it is. It comes before solstice on the 21st, and then solstice comes before Christmas Day on the 25th, and then Christmas Day comes before the portal well, actually, no, there's another moon on the 29th of December. I'm pretty sure I'm right in saying that one was really catching my eye as well yesterday. More than this one, actually. It was like, whoa, there's something really big going to be happening on the 29th. Okay, it's actually 29th, 30th. Oh, it's a full moon in Cancer. Okay. Right. I mean, to be honest, when does the corridor stop that I'm presently tuning into? Because we need to see where the energy's starting and then where it sort of starts to fade out again. What I'm talking about in this video is from now until the full moon on the 10th of January. Okay. After that, we're probably into a different narrative and a different story, but that's what we're at now. Okay, so let's get going. Two cards that I pulled today are pretty self-explanatory. This is what happens. This is the energy that we're moving into after the total solar eclipse. Okay, now this says eternal love, happiness, harmony, and fulfillment. We have the sun out shining brightly. But what also caught my eye was this helix shape, which straight away took me to the energy of DNA. So DNA activations, DNA coding that is coming in via the rebirth of the sun. And I'm hearing rebirth of the sun linked into the physical sun in the sky, but also when I say the Son of God, I am not talking about the second coming in terms of Jesus Christ appearing suddenly in our midst. And it's like, oh my God, there he is. Because he never actually left the planet anyway. This is a wave of Christ consciousness that is coming in, where we truly start to understand that we are all sons and daughters of God, and that we all have that Christ consciousness within us. So the rebirth of the sun ties into that, and it brings in a greater harmony, greater blessings, and greater happiness. And it comes in via DNA upgrades and encoding. When does this happen? It happens in the corridor that I was just talking about. From now, well, actually it opened up, I'm hearing yesterday on the 12/12, until the 10th of January. That's what I'm tuning into. This is a whole strand of energy that comes in waves, started yesterday, and is going to be carrying on up until the 10th of January. Now remember, time is not linear, but I'm talking about it as if it is a linear event. Okay, so don't feel as though I'm going to miss the boat. You know, if I'm somehow busy or not able to open up to receive these codes. These codes are there in a time capsule, but it's as though they are arriving in a big wave for many people in this particular corridor of time that I'm talking about. Also being shown the rainbow. Okay, obviously the rainbow, which is God's promise, the blessing, and this is also linked into the sunshine after the rain. Strikes me that I'm recording this, you might well be able to hear, there's a lot of gales around the house, and we've got, although it's not raining right this moment, we've got a day of rain. In fact, I think we've got a week of rain ahead. It's very, very wet, very, very rainy. Now, that's all sounding great, isn't it? But it's like we've got to get to that. We're not, that's the goal. That's where we're heading. Look also how beautifully this lioness is protecting that energy of the sun. Look how she's protecting that energy. Very, very protected. This whole process of upgrade and stepping into the brighter future is very protected by spirit. It's being watched over. But as I say, we've got to get to it. So where are we now? We also have the energy here of Ganesh. Now, Ganesh keeps coming in, actually. Quite interesting. And I'll talk a little bit about this in case you don't know who Ganesh is. But this is about clearing away obstacles, protection and guidance. So by the very nature, it's saying that there are obstacles, there are blocks that need to be removed for you to be able to get to this. Now I'm going to pull a card that goes in the middle of these two in a moment. But before we do that, let's just tune into the energy of this. This is the Tony Carmine Salerno deck that we're looking at here. Okay. Many of you may already work with the energy of Ganesh, one of the most worshipped deities in the Hindu pantheon. It's a good omen of fortune. It says, whatever has thwarted your progress or prevented you from moving forward will soon be resolved. An obstacle is cleared and you are free to move on. Your plans are now able to come to fruition. Know that everything happens for a reason, and the blockages that you have faced were in fact a blessing in disguise. This is really interesting, this bit. It says the block was actually an act of divine intervention. Timing and circumstances were previously not favourable. This is the interesting bit. And your efforts would have only ended up in disappointment and failure. The path is now clear and the timing is right. Your stars are in alignment. So I found that fascinating because sometimes when we have blocks in our life and obstacles and we're trying to get to the goal, whatever the goal is, whatever it is you're trying to get to, whatever you're trying to create, whatever you're trying to move towards, and you have these blocks, and even if you can, there are so many things to say about that, because often there's also a state of acceptance that has to come in, that phrase again, it is what it is. But yet this is also saying go deeper and realise that if that block were to be removed too soon, actually you wouldn't have the successful outcome that you think you were going to have. So bless the block in a way, because it's actually trying to prevent you from moving too quickly and making a mistake, or just whatever it is you're trying to get to, this wouldn't be ready yet. So it's very much an energy of divine timing to all of this. Let's have one that goes in between these two cards. So in between, Ganesh coming in to try and remove the blocks, because Spirit is aware that there are blocks. The other thing I've noticed about Ganesh is how, when I say stubborn, I mean that in a good way. I mean, it's the energy of the elephant. So, elephants, I guess, take a lot of budging. You don't, put it this way, an elephant will move when an elephant wants to move. You're not going to be able to just coax it that easily. Because I remember, again, please, I don't want to get into all the politics of America right now on this particular video, but do you remember I pulled those 3 cards for what's happening in America? And Ganesh was one of the cards, which was that we're going to remove the obstacles for the highest outcome to come in. I have not been able to put away, they're over here, the 3 cards. Let me just get them so you can see what I'm talking about. Hold on. Ooh. Ah. Right. These 3 cards I pulled for America. I don't know, month ago, 2 months ago. Do you remember? White feather. I always call him White Feather, sorry. White Eagle. Lord Ganesh. And we had Ashtar. And I've got my selenite crystal. And every time I go to put these 3 cards away, I'm like, no, you cannot move them. And it's Lord Ganesh. It's like, no, I'm there until the job is done, until the obstacle is removed. So it's just very interesting. I find his energy very interesting, Ganesh. Need to find out more about his energy. Okay, let's pull one in the middle then. So let's go back to your personal life. How do we get to that lovely sunshine? Okay, what's the bridge energy? The bridge energy is our own heart. The bridge energy is the sacred heart. Passion, love, and spiritual communion. You've got to want it. You have got to really want this to get to it. You've got to have passion for it. You've got to believe it. You've got to feel it. You've got to taste it. You've got to, it's the whole thing about manifestation. to manifest something, it's to do with not just wishing it in a very airy fairy way. It's like I can see myself in that state. I can see myself. I can feel it. I can taste it. All of the senses are involved in this. So, for example, if you're trying to move into a new type of life, you've got to really be imagining when I'm there, whatever that means, when I'm there, how would that feel? I mean, being given the example of a country. So say you're moving country, but you could also say you're moving job or moving out of relationship into a new relationship. Any of those scenarios will fit. It's not just a case of, oh, well, what would it be like when I'm living in Australia? Okay. Or what would it be like when I'm, I don't know, I've got the job of my dreams? Or what would it be like when I don't have this relationship anymore and I'm actually with this other person? That's all very loose. It's very, very loose. You've got to flesh it out. You've got to really go into your heart and feel it with every fibre of your being so that you become it. I'm actually hearing the word, so you become like a transformer. Who is this that I've got here? It's sort of a mixture of Metatron and Ashtar. They seem to work together very closely. They're talking about that's what transformers are. They're giving me the analogy of Star Trek. Okay. I'm sure there were, I'm being shown, I can't remember what scene it was, I can't remember what film it was or what episode of the TV series, but these beings that could transform into something else. And the reason that actually that is physically possible, is it's getting to a point where you're not just thinking about it willy-nilly. It's like I've got it with every fibre of my being. I'm there. I'm sitting in that Australian sunshine. I'm drinking the whatever. You know, I can feel the light on my body. I can feel the sand underneath my feet. I can breathe in the air that smells different. I can see the person I'm sat at the table with. I can feel the jet lag maybe of having got there and the relief of sitting beside the sea. It's all of it. It's taking it into such a deeper level. Okay, so you have got to want it. I might call the video that. You got to want it. It's true of life. You've got to want life. Okay, let's move on. Let's pull some other cards. Let's go to this other deck now, the Guardian of the Night deck. Let's see what messages it's got, please. This is a tarot deck. Okay, so we'll get some other information coming through here. New moon in Sagittarius. Interesting, just clearing my throat because I think there's a strong association with Mercury as well and communication tomorrow. Show me the energy, please, of the new moon in Sagittarius. Six of Swords. Interesting, I was just talking about moving country. The turtle has its home on its back, and the Six of Swords is the card of moving away. Judgment on the bottom of the deck. This new moon is definitely bringing up, Three of Wands as well, is definitely bringing up a movement away from something. That's what the Six of Swords is. It's moving away from something that no longer works. The traditional card in the Rider-Waite tarot deck shows this, I think it's usually a woman that's being sort of just oared or paddled away from a place. And I always get the impression that she doesn't really know where she's going. There's an energy of that. There's an energy of letting go and moving on without truly knowing exactly where you're going to be, how it's going to feel. But haven't you just said, I need to really feel it and want it? Yes, I have. And no, the two pieces of information are not conflicting. So let's give an example here. You want to move job. Okay, you've got to dream it, you've got to feel it with every fibre of your being, how I'm going to feel when I've got that new job. But here's the nub, you can't control it too much. It doesn't just have to be that job. It doesn't just have to be that person. It doesn't just have to be that part of the country that you move to. What you do is you put your hand in the air and you say to yourself, as much as to a higher power, I'm ready for change. I'm ready to let go and move on. I wish to feel like this. I wish to feel like this in the new job, in the new home, in the new relationship, whatever it is, in the new state of being, in the new skin that I am in. It's like the snake that sheds its skin. It knows it's changing and transforming, but yet it truly doesn't know exactly what it's going to look like until it gets there. Okay, so judgment, decisions coming up here. The snake shedding its skin. I mean, actually, it's on the card. I hadn't appreciated that. The snake shedding its skin. Rebirth. Why? Why? Because we've got the energy of the Three of Wands. The sun is calling. The sun is calling. The sun is your power, your I am center, your divine purpose, your joy, your happiness. That's what's calling you. That's what you've got to feel. So I feel really happy in that new job in 2021. I feel really happy in the new relationship in 2021. I feel really happy in the new home in 2021. I feel really happy in my own skin, in my own body. But I don't quite know how I'm going to get there. I don't quite know exactly how it's going to look. I can imagine, but I mustn't control. It's a very, very fine line, manifestation, between feeling it and stepping into it, but not controlling it. As soon as you start to control it too much, that it has to look a certain way, you're back to the block. You're back to creating a new block. Look at this, the journey to this new, happier state. It flows. It flows. There's ups, there's downs. And remember also, please, that, downloads that are coming in, DNA upgrades that are coming in via all these solar flares, it's particularly solar flares, but other things as well. You need downtime to integrate this. Okay, it's not all a bed of roses. Don't need me to tell you that, I'm sure. You need downtime, you need rest time to integrate these. It's also a stop-start energy as well. Okay, so that's one message that we've got from those cards. Beautiful, aren't they? I'm being told to put the Three of Wands back up. Okay, there's something I haven't seen in the Three of Wands. What type of bird is that? I'm being asked. Three of Wands. Let me just have a look in the book. I think I know what it is, but I just want to double check. Three of Wands. No, I didn't know what it was. Any prizes for guessing what that bird is? Any twitchers out there? This is a scissor-tailed flycatcher. I don't think we see any of those here. The scissor-tailed flycatcher moves through the dark skies as it returns from Central America to North America's plains. What I find interesting aside from that is that they can navigate their way through the night for thousands of miles. Okay, now you realise why I had to put this card back up. They can navigate through the night, through the darkness, for thousands of miles. They tend to wander, perhaps not settling for what is closest, but rather an area that feels right. Call on this beautiful songbird when you need to get that travelling itch, as this bird is not afraid of putting in the miles. Yeah, you see, and also what she's saying here, and this is her book, your current situation may benefit from broadening your horizons by looking beyond the present to what could be in the future. There's a great big world out there waiting to be explored. Yeah, beautiful, isn't it? Absolutely beautiful. All right. Let's keep going. 2 more cards from this deck, please. Energy coming in. Energy coming in, please. 2 more cards. The Ace of Wands. Well, that's potent in its own right. Ace of Wands is that fiery, direct, motivational energy. And we've got the Eight of Pentacles, the bee. Aren't they beautiful? So, Eight of Pentacles, work being put in to the new start. Ace of Wands, direction, motivation. The spider again. Can you see on that web? Can you see the web? I looked at that and I thought, what have they got little aliens in the spider's web for? Can you see that if I put it close up? I don't know if it will focus. They are actually spiders, but I looked at that and I saw alien heads in the middle of the spider. In the middle of the spider's web. That's what I straight away saw. Alien energy. Ashtar doesn't like the word alien, I remember now, sorry. Star being energy. Because he says we're not alien to you. We are what you are us and we are you. That's why he doesn't like the word alien. So star beings is what I saw in the web. And we've got lilies. Lilies are representative of death, aren't they, and loss. Something needing to be let go of for the new start to come in, which is the Ace of Wands. It's a very interesting card because I'm also looking at the structures here which just look like towers. Tower blocks that we've built up. And then we've got the Eight of Pentacles. Look at that. You see, that's the structure that man has made. And this is the structure that the bee has made. From the structure that the bee has made, honey is produced. Honey is linked into sweetness, sweetness of life, nectar, pollination. What do we do in our towers that we build? Do we create happiness within the industrial structures I'm hearing of our world, of our landscape, of our towns and of our cities? Or do we feel a bit like spiders trapped in a web? I feel as though this is linking into some sort of message about our cities and towns and how we live as human beings. And there's a death of the way that we do it. I'm very aware that there are billions of people in the world. So, you know, we can't all live in a rural idyllic scenario. And indeed, a lot of people wouldn't even want that anyway. But yet there has to be a middle way, doesn't there? There has to be a middle way. You see, again, look at that card, the Eight of Pentacles. The honeybee, it knows these are money things here. It knows what the true worth is of life. The true worth is the sweetness, the joy, what brings you joy. Not just building up these blocks, these towers. This is to do with industry, it's to do with how you're working. And remember, this is eclipse energy, so it's about what's coming in for next year. If you're on the, if you're stuck in a job which is just destroying you and crushing your soul and crushing your spirit and making you feel as though you're just a number in a cog and that you don't have any creativity, you're just stuck like the hamster in the wheel. I feel as though the Ace of Wands is saying, look at that spider's out of the web, well and truly out of the web. There's another way to make money. Look at that, the bee, there's another way to make money. And I think, to be honest, as a society, we're all looking at that in different ways. We are facing a restructuring of our society. speaking from a UK perspective, I'm sure it's not just a UK perspective, go into any major town, any city, and you will see row upon row of disused, empty shops, businesses that have folded. There still will be business in the future. There still will be a way to make money in the future. There still will be jobs in the future. But it's almost as though we need to take our cue from nature once again and look to the bee. What's that prophecy? That's something to do with bees and the importance of bees and crops, and that once the bees have gone. Hold on. Once the bees have died. You're probably all telling me now. I just want to see if I can find it quickly and not turn my camera off, because otherwise I have to stitch it all together again. Don't know, I can't find it. You can put it in, I'm sure a lot of you will put it below, but it's to do with, we're basically in trouble as a species if the bees disappear, because the bees are the ones that actually keep everything moving, the crops growing, etc. As I was just looking at trying to find it, it's interesting, I saw something else about the birds and the bees as well. Birds and the bees, meaning of sex and procreation and all of that. Something about that coming through as well. Let's just pull another card. I'm onto something here, hold on. Birds and the bees. Is that an expression that translates? The birds and the bees. Jeez. Right, this is graphic. This is a graphic card. Oof, I'm not going to say... I want to see your reaction to this. What do you think of this? It's graphic, isn't it? Three of Swords. An ending. Goodness, and then on the bottom of the deck we've got the Five of Swords. It's the same I'm interpreting this as the office blocks. Look at this. That's the beautiful deer or stag walking through the abandoned, empty town. Okay, birds and the bees, let's take it away from sex. Let's just bring it into, it's procreation, it's life. There's an ending to an old way of doing life. How we've been repeating the same old things, repeating the same old mistakes as a species. It's kept us in chains. It's kept our heart in a chain. I assume that is meant to be a heart, which is pierced. It's one of the most graphic Three of Swords cards I've seen in a long time. But it's powerfully, amazingly, beautifully illustrated. There's an ending to our heart being in chains. Look at these two cards. This is where we're heading. To be in the energy of the Sacred Heart, for our heart to be leading us, for our heart to be speaking to us, for us to be following our heart, for the age of the heart to come back in. The dawning of the age of Aquarius. But for that to happen, and yes, absolutely, it's tied in with this beautiful solar eclipse energy, all of that beautiful yellow light. Look what has to happen, the death of the old. Look after your hearts. Look after your heart. Interesting, in that last video I did where I felt like my heart was, I had that really weird feeling here. I know there's nothing wrong with my physical heart, but I was picking something up with other people. Put it this way, the people out there that have hardened their hearts, the people out there who've just completely and utterly hardened their hearts to God, to life, to their own unique light, to their fellow man, to the animals, to this beautiful earth. It doesn't end well. Having said that, look at that beautiful angel feather supporting the process of, where is it? The snake shedding its skin. You see, the snake shedding its skin, I'm also feeling, you know, the Kundalini type energy, life force energy. For some people, I actually feel that we're in pivotal times here. Some are choosing to stay and some are choosing to go, okay? Let's just be blunt about it. I nearly set fire to that card then. I just threw it into the flame. I just threw that into the flame. This is a portal over the next month or so. I mean, it always is. There's a lot of people that cross over around Christmas time and New Year. I'm not meaning to frighten anybody, but it's the fact. It happens every single year. And often a wave of souls choose to pass around this time, and they pass together because there's a beautiful portal of light. They see the ladder of light. One of you sent me this card. Thank you, Darren. You sent me that card. Jacob's ladder, the ladder of light. They see the portal, and their bodies are just so heavy and weary that they choose to climb up here. But for the rest of us, we are being asked to be the snake that sheds the skin, to stay here. You know, if that's what our soul wishes, it's a soul choice. It's always a soul choice whether you live or whether you stay or whether you go. Yeah, I've got a song, you know, I've got The Clash. Should I stay or should I go now? Should I stay or should I go now? The Clash. There's a choice point coming up for quite a lot of people. Now, you can say it's as a result of the pandemic, for example, or it could be to do with other things, but, so I'm just looking at the lyrics. Yeah, no, I won't add to it. It's pretty self-explanatory, I think, that message. There's so many messages going all over the place in this video, but let me just say what's coming into my mind as I'm seeing the cards. So this is also reminding me the first lockdown that we had. Do you remember the videos I did where I was showing you the photographs in Venice of the fish that were in the water? And people were sending photographs of animals that were returning to the water that normally you didn't see, and it was positive and it was beautiful. It's like nature reclaiming the cities. But I don't think this is literal in terms of man's just being forced out and suddenly, you know, is living in a hut in the middle of nowhere. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that nature is taking its rightful place back in balance in our cities. Seems to be a rebirth. There is a rebirth coming in for our cities. So this is also something that's coming in with this this solar eclipse and this whole time period. It's triggering a rebirth for our cities and how we live and how we work. And the places that we walk around, if you're doing your Christmas shopping and you're walking past row upon row of empty shop, particularly in the big places, yeah, it's sad. It is sad to see these great, big, beautiful institutions closing down, but something else will come back in, you know, and it will be a more balanced environment between man and nature. I'm seeing town centres, including my own, which are going to be much more, there's going to be more parkland. There's going to be more recreation land for people. And what Metatron is saying is that when people are more rested and have opportunity to play effectively, you know, I'm being shown parks, for example, then of course, when you're in that state, then you're more able to be creative. You're more able to be productive. He's saying it's chicken and egg at the moment. Some people are panicking because the jobs are going, but yet in a panicked state, you can't find it's harder to feel inspired and creative because you're in a panic by nature is a fear-based response, and it may very well be justified, but it's a fear-based response, and the best solutions never come from a fear-based response. So we're needing to transform the landscape of our cities to ones where the people and nature are more at one. Harmony, back to this first card, happiness, harmony and fulfillment. The rainbow, I'm now being shown Noah's Ark. Okay, the animals went in 2 by 2. Everything was planned for and catered for by God for the rebirth to happen. I'm being shown Noah's Ark very, very clearly in my mind's eye now. It doesn't mean there's going to be a mass flooding of the earth, but there's an exodus happening of souls. There is the people whose hearts are just completely hardened and closed. It's going to be harder and harder to stay in that chained situation. So choice point times, but choice point times for everybody. We all have to be the snake that sheds its skin. We all have to have the confidence to move away from what no longer works. And we have to realise that this brighter place that is on the horizon is there, it's being protected, and it will happen in divine timing. It will happen in divine timing. You know, my guidance for countries that are really struggling at the moment, and I would include USA in this, and I would include UK, but goodness knows how many other countries. I've got Brazil in my head as well. But, you know, I'm not meaning to single out those countries are the only ones. It's everywhere. The whole world is needing help at the moment. Try to see the sunshine on the horizon. What Metatron is showing me is it's as though everyone at the moment, or a lot of people, are just focusing on the stormy sea. They're just focused on the stormy sea. And it's like, oh my God, this is difficult. You look to the horizon. Look to the light that's coming on the horizon. Okay. Okay, let's have a couple of cards to wrap it up. I did say I was going to bring the dragon in, actually, didn't I? I just remembered. Okay, let's bring the dragon in now. Fire elemental. So, I mean, the dragon, before I've even sprayed it, okay, let's just spray it. But anyway, I'm hearing, of course, they help take away and remove. They're a bit like Ganesh. They remove the obstacles. They burn it away. Let's step into our dragon light. Can you see how much of this I'm spraying? I never normally do that. Dousing the flames of destruction. What a dragon does is it comes in and it eats. It's able to eat and take away that which is destructive. It consumes it. So just bring that dragon energy into you. And I don't know about you, but as soon as I do that, I go cold. I always go cold. When the dragons are around, I always feel cold. There's a reptilian energy linking back into the snake, the dragon. Reptilian in a good way. You have a reptilian brain. You are multidimensional. You have a reptilian brain and you also have a galactic energy. You have an angelic energy. You are everything. You have a Christ light. So let's just tune into the dragon aspect within you. Can you feel the strength? My God. I'm being shown our legs and they're like massive tree trunks. Can you feel your height growing? Can you feel your presence growing? Does any part of that dragon feel afraid? No. No part whatsoever. I'm just getting the energy of these dragons and I'm hearing the word stomp. It's like they're stomping upon the earth. And they're helping to put out some of when I say the fires, the fire is a symbolic energy in terms of the destructive energy that man is making. I don't know how many months ago, there was a video I did where I was talking about the heavyweights of the animal kingdom here with us at this time, the real heavyweights, and that's what we've got here. These dragons are land dragons that I'm feeling. I mean, yeah, they can fly, but I'm not seeing them as little, you know, little ones flying around. These are big, heavy, prehistoric dragon energies. And they are friend, not foe. They are here to help us. They are here to help us raise our game, to not be in fear, to put out the fires, to create harmony through balance. That's the second card we've got, which has the word harmony. They're here to create harmony. And yeah, that's the yin-yang sign. So it's the male-female, it's opposites, it's duality, it's light and dark. They're trying to restore the balance of light and dark. But yeah, the heavyweights, the elephants, the lions, the dragons. Okay. Final card, please. New moon in Sagittarius. Solar eclipse. Final card, please. Got two. Six of Pentacles and the King of Cups. When I was just saying about the heavyweights, the animal heavyweights, just to ram home the message, excuse the pun. The humpback whale, the biggest heavyweight in the ocean, and the bull. Heavyweight energy. Wow. Whew. Can you feel this? This is just like, I tell you what, if this does not ground us, nothing's going to. Because this is the thing, for this rebirth to happen, we've got to be grounded. What I was saying earlier on about manifestation, you having to feel it. What that means is to feel it is you have to be grounded. It can't be just up here floating around. You have to bring it to earth with a thump. Okay? These energies are about bringing it to earth, helping to bring it to earth. Six of Pentacles, again, balance, giving and receiving. King of Cups is depicted here by this beautiful whale energy. What goes with the King of Cups? Let's just see what goes with the King of Cups. Now that's interesting. I pulled this card. You can't see it because you can't see what I'm doing, but the devil came out. But they're quite slippery, slidey cards. And it literally, as I pulled it, it went shh, like that. It flew across my table as if to say, well, you've got the card, but take no notice of it. That's literally what it did. It was like, yep, it's there, but take no notice of it. So I'm not going to take too much notice of it. Ooh, yeah, you see, because yeah, I must just show you. Look, that's the heart. That's the heart we've been talking about. The people that are just chained to this lower state. Fear, hardened heart, lack of unity consciousness, total ego. It's all about me and only me, etc. That needs to go over there. That's on the way out. What's coming in is the energy of the King of Cups. Look at that whale. It's just balancing the golden chalice, the Holy Grail on the tip. It's playing with it. It's playing with it. It's light-hearted. That beautiful crown, it's just lit up in the sky. It's light-hearted. It's flowing. But this energy here is like, this is going to happen. Make no mistake about it. This new energy is coming in. Hold on to your hats, guys. I'm feeling this is very, very positive energy for the wider world, for the collective, but also for us individually. Be very conscious of your thoughts over the next month or so. Be very conscious of what you're wanting, what you're trying to dream in, but don't control it. Remember the fine line there. Realise that you are literally like the snake that is shedding its skin for the new life. Keep your heart as light as you possibly can. Breathe, okay? Laugh. Laugh. Laughter is so, so important at the moment. Bless her heart, Barbara Windsor, that died a few days ago here in the UK. Stick on a Carry On film. Roar with laughter. Lighten up. We all have got to lighten up. Put on the funny films. But this feels very, very divinely protected as well. Very, very divinely protected. So, yeah, because the obstacles are being removed for us. Okay, I'll be back next week. We're going to be doing a solstice video, and I'll be looking at whatever message wants to come in for that. And you take care of yourselves. Love you all very much. See you all soon. Bye-bye for now. Bye.